the proof is in the pudding, as they say. The Gabe Davis catch that you mentioned. This was a weird, bizarre moment on the final drive of regulation for the Bills. And I thought they were going to score a touchdown, and it was just going to be see you later. Forget about the field goal. They're just going to score a touchdown. Davis makes the catch, and the Bills did a great job of getting up to the line and getting the ball snapped before the replay assistant had the presence of mind to buzz down to stop the action so this play could be reviewed. Because in that moment, you've got to take the time to review it. Walt Anderson, the senior VP of officiating, admitted that last night. He admitted they should have initiated the review and that the review would have resulted in the ruling on the field being overturned. Because even though I'm not 100% sure that we would have had clear and obvious evidence that the ball hit the ground, when you're falling out of bounds like that, you've got to maintain possession when you hit the ground. You can't bobble it. If you're in the field of play, you can bobble it as long as it doesn't hit the ground. In that moment, you can't do that. And Anderson told a pool reporter that the ball hit the ground. And maybe if we study it closely enough, we'll see it hit the ground and move. But, from that angle, it's like, well, there you go. There it is. I sit corrected. But they blew it, and they admit they blew it. And I wonder if they would have been quite so candid, Myles, if the Vikings had lost the game. It's easy to bare your soul and admit your flaw when the outcome was the Vikings win. If the Bills win, if they score a touchdown on that drive or they win it in overtime, it's a lot tougher to fess up to that festering mess that they allowed to exist by not reviewing that play.
Absolutely. I mean, look, it's inexcusable to not buzz down at that point. I don't know whose job exactly it is.
Replay assistant. Replay assistant.
Well, the replay
and they got 345. They got 345 that is in a position to say to the replay assistant, buzz down. So they're not blameless
exactly.
either.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, everybody is culpable for that. There's no excuse to not have that happen. In that kind of critical game, in that kind of critical situation, somebody's got to do their job properly there.
And I think the referee, he can talk into that thing too. It's not just them talking to him. I'm sure he could say to somebody, "Are we sure? Are we sure that this? Are we sure here?"
Yeah, stop the play. And frankly, if that game was at 425 where there were fewer games, or at night where there's only one game, I feel like 345 Park Avenue has a lot less to pay attention to. Although at that point, that's the game of the day, so everybody's eyes should be on it anyway.
Yeah.
So that's just, I really didn't like seeing that. I didn't. That's just not okay.
Well, and what happens is when something like that transpires, you get people claiming that whoever they is, the mysterious vague they, want the Bills to win. And people, and this is all a product of the legalization of sports wagering. It introduces and legitimizes. It doesn't introduce. The tinfoil hat grassy knoll crowd has been around forever. But when you put legalized betting into the mix, you legitimize the folks who would say, somebody's getting paid, somebody wants somebody to win, something is rigged. And no, it's just incompetence. No, right. I say all the time, I want to choose my words carefully here, unless I don't. I say all the time that the NFL isn't rigged, and the NFL isn't rigged. And people are like, wow, boy, you're usually anti-league office. And I'm not anti-league office. I'm pro-truth, and I'm pro, let's get things right. And I'm pro, let's spend the money necessary to have the best possible officiating and the best possible technologies. I'm not trying to bring people down. I'm trying to uplift the shield. As I've said before, this is the product of being brainwashed by NFL films when you're 7, 8 years old into thinking that the NFL is something that's deserves to be up on a pedestal. I'm trying to push it up to that pedestal. Anyway, my point is, I don't think they're competent enough to rig games. That's why it's not that there aren't maybe some folks who have been tempted. I'm not saying that. I don't know. I'm just saying they can't pull it off because I've seen the things that they try to pull off and they can't. I don't think they could ever pull off rigging a game. That's my primary basis for believing they can't. So the Bills tie it up. The Vikings get the ball first in overtime, and it looks like they're going to score a touchdown. Another great catch by Justin Jefferson gets the ball down close to the 1, and that's where this Vikings, and I really do think it's in their DNA, this just kind of periodic, Kirk Cousins getting tripped by a lineman multiple times yesterday, a running play that goes nowhere, a sack. You can always count on the walls closing in on Kirk Cousins at some point and him losing 7 yards and making it harder. And that's the difference. In the past, look at that throw. That was a duck and cover throw, and he completed it. I turned back to Matthew Berry, and I said, what is that? What's that throw? And when that works, that's more proof that they got something special going on. They got the horseshoe up their ass, as Sims would say and probably will say. That was the moments like they're going to score a touchdown and win it. But then they got to get the field goal, and then you got to sweat out Josh Allen again. And Josh Allen's going to go down the field. And please don't let this be a tie. This game can end in a tie. They're going to go down the field, and Josh Allen's going to throw a touchdown pass, and that's going to be it. That's what I fully expected when the Bills got the ball back.
Me too. That duck and cover kind of play from Kirk Cousins is another one where it's like, Justin Jefferson's down there somewhere. I mean, that was a dimer, though. And as soon as Jefferson had that ball on the sideline, the broadcast thing was like, oh, did he catch it? I'm like, man, you think Justin Jefferson, all the crazy stuff he's done in this game, didn't have two toes in? I mean, I would have bet my life on the fact that Justin Jefferson secured that catch before I actually knew that it was true and I saw a replay, and obviously he did. And so, when he catches that ball and they get down to the 3.5, 2 yard line, whatever it was, and you think, okay, this is where the Vikings are going to win it. They're going to pound it in. They've got the attitude. They've got the right mentality, whatever they need to make sure that this ball gets in there. And to the Bills' credit, their defense held another goal line stand there. That defense, no matter what, I mean, they did not break throughout that entire game. And so, they didn't win it, obviously, but they still were playing the whole time. You have to defend every single blade of grass. And to the Bills' defensive credit, they did that. They did not allow them to get in the end zone at the end of the game.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.